Welcome. Today I'm going to continue my series on habits. And last time we talked about how habits control us. Well, today, understanding that habits control us, I want to talk about how do we create new habits? Because if it was that easy, why aren't people doing that all the time? And why is it we can't create healthy habits? What stops us from creating healthy habits? And so here's what I've come to understand about that, and as I look at my life in that, is first off, we don't feel worthy. Because if we're looking at something, how do I have more abundance? How do I have a better relationship? How do I have better health in my life? Right? Well, you have to feel worthy of having that in order to even be committed, let alone start a habit that would change that. A lot of times people start habits and they stop. They stop really fast. Why? They don't feel worthy. They don't believe that that end result that they're looking for is something that they can have. So it's all about self-worth and self-love. Here's another thing that comes into play. We're conditioned to expect and receive immediate results. And the truth of the matter is that nothing good is really fast. It takes time to build a new habit. What do they say? It takes an average of 21 days to build a habit. Sometimes it takes less. Sometimes it takes more, depending on it. And it's a conditioning. And that conditioning is fed by the environment around us, by the people around us. And if you have the same people around you and you're trying to do a new habit, they're going to be pushing back and you're going to say, well, where's my immediate result? I want that immediate result. I want to lose that 10 pounds in 1 week. I want to lose that 20 pounds in a month. And it just doesn't happen that way. So we're conditioned. And that stops us. Here's the next thing is why we don't change our habits. We try to change too many at the same time. And when you overload yourself, you're going to fail. Changing a habit is a major commitment. That's why you start with one. And you work on the one until it changes. Another reason why we don't change habits is because we get so busy. And when we get busy, it's easy to slip back into old habits and old behaviors. You ever done that? I know I have. Something pops up. Oh, I see that all the time with people with meditation. Well, you know, this came up and I had to be here and I had to be here and I had to be here. Life got busy and they didn't have enough of a reason why to continue the habit. And this is the other reason. We don't have a clear and beneficial reasons to change. Yeah, the reasons to change, they must be clear and they must provide us with a big benefit. Otherwise, we're not going to do them. I think about this in so many different ways. I was talking with someone the other day and they had a health challenge. And in order to fix that health challenge, they would have to change habits. Habits of eating, habits of visualizing, habits of how they deal with stress, those type of things. But they didn't believe that they could heal. They didn't believe the possibility was there. And so that reflected me back to the time when I found out that I had a brain tumor. And the doctor said to me, he says, the only way that we get rid of that brain tumor is that we perform surgery. I remember that like it was yesterday. And I can remember thinking, I'd started my spiritual journey thinking, oh wait, I'm hearing about and studying about all these ways that I might get healthy through the use of my mind. And so that's when I talked with Reverend John Webster. And he said, Lee, the surgery's not that you have to have it immediately. They're saying you should have the surgery. Why don't you test these principles? And so what happened was I had to build some new habits. The habits I built were daily I would pray. Daily, I would visualize Pac-Man going through my brain, eating away at the tumor. Daily, I would meditate. Daily, I would become a vegan. Changing a habit of eating. I ate like a bodybuilder. I ate 6 meals a day. Meat was a predominant part of my day, a part of my meals. And what happened was, as I did the research, I realized I did not want to have surgery, and that was huge to me. I watched what surgery on the brain did to my father. I did not want to have that. So I kept building the reasons, and then I started. I started with the prayer. I started with the meditation. I started with the visualization. I started with changing the eating habits. And I did that every day without fail. A year later, I went back for an MRI, and my tumor was gone. I proved to myself, but what did I have to do? I had to build new habits. See, I had heard that the body replaces all of its cells, most of the cells, 99% of the cells, every year. A lot of cells are replaced several times during the year. So knowing that medical fact, that scientific fact, I said, I could change the level of stress in my body. I could change the visualization of how I see my body. I can change the food I feed my body. I can create an environment where I create and that tumor gets taken away. It didn't happen in a week. It took a year. That's one of the reasons why when we're going to change a habit, and most habits we don't even realize that we've got. But when we have a habit we want to change, we've got to give it time. See, we have no idea that we have habits that are stopping us from experiencing a life that has greater meaning. Because most of the habits that we have are what? Unconscious. But then as we have symptoms in our lives of events that are not the way we want, let's say it's financial, we start examining what are our habits on spending? What are our habits on, do we view money as good or bad? What are our habits? Do we give things away for free instead of realizing that we have value in the service we provide? Do we have a habit of not investing? And we start to do that and we realize, oh, I have to change my habits here in order to have a new life. You see, to create a new habit, we must first decide on a goal and choose a habit that supports the attainment of that goal. Go back to the story about me getting rid of the brain tumor. I had a goal. I wanted to eliminate that brain tumor so I would not ever have to have surgery on my brain. And then I said, what habits can I change? And I looked at the habits that I believed would serve me. And I believed they served me. I still believe they serve me. And that's real important. If you don't have a belief that a habit will work, it's not going to work because our beliefs create. I believe that by me doing these habits, it would work and I could achieve my goal. And build a belief that you're worthy of the goal. That's really important. One of the best benefits that you could ever build behind anything you're doing is that you are worthy. And think about this. You were created out of the infinite. You are a part of the infinite. The infinite is expressing life through as you. All of the infinite wisdom is available to you. Simply because you are a part of the infinite, you're worthy of seeing, experiencing all that the infinite has to offer. You don't have to be good, bad, and different. You are worthy just by your very nature. The illusion that we bought into, the habit of thinking that we bought into here is that no, there's a being out there that determines whether you're worthy or not. Do you realize that the idea of a being out there, a God separate from you, is just a habit of thinking that people have bought into? Yeah, it's just a habit. Isn't everything a habit? Everything starts with a thought. And thoughts that we repeat over and over again are habits of thinking, which determine our worldview. If you really break it down, everything are habits. So we got to build a belief that we're worthy. And then once we build the belief, we've got to identify the benefits of the new habit and see how they outweigh the perceived benefits of the old habit. So if you have a habit of eating 5-6 meals a day, you love to eat, but you're overweight, you got diabetes, you may have blood pressure, you've got to see that the benefits of changing your eating habits will give you a body that allows you to more fully experience life with less pain, less meds, less limitations. And you've got to see that that is better for you than eating whatever you want whenever you want. It's got to be a benefit. The new habit has to have more benefits than the old habit. Otherwise, it won't last. Then we've got to create a new routine. A new routine with realistic and believable goals. When I created my habits and my routine to get rid of the brain tumor, I set what I believed was a realistic habit. A year. I believe that is possible. I could easily go to the idea of weight loss. Most people say I've got to lose 20 pounds. Well, that's an unrealistic goal. But could you lose a half a pound a week? If you could lose a half a pound a week in 3/4 of a year, you've lost your 20 pounds. Not only is it realistic, but you can believe you can lose a half a pound a week. That's very, very achievable. You see, and then the habit will work. You see, once we've got the benefits, we built a belief, a goal, then we continue the habit for a designated period of time, and then we evaluate how is this habit serving us, and if necessary, we adjust. So let's assume we're back on that weight thing, and we build the habits, and we're losing a 1/4 pound a week. And then we realize, well, I'm still having those 2 sodas every day. I cut down from 4 sodas a day to 2 sodas a day. Well, 2 sodas a day, that's 240 calories a day. Let's try that. Let's try that for 3 weeks, see what happens. At the end of 3 weeks, oh my God, I'm losing a half a pound a week. I'll continue the habit. You see, you adjust. Flexibility is something that we have. I would invite you to make flexibility a habit. Test what you're doing. See how it's working. Not working, be flexible, make an adjustment to it. You see, once one habit is installed and we've proven it, then we can move on to the next habit that we want to change. And it becomes something that we do one step at a time. Keep in mind that our life is a journey. And the way we take journeys is one step at a time, one action at a time, one word at a time, one feeling at a time, one thought at a time, one habit at a time. So you became the way you are through however many years you've been in existence. Give yourself a break that when you're starting to change and you're building a new habit, that you set a realistic goal. You see the benefits of that goal. You set a realistic time to monitor it. You give yourself the flexibility to adjust. And you stick to it with persistency and consistency until you have created the outcome you desire. I want to look you in the eyes right now and tell you, whatever you dream, you are worthy of. You've just got to create a habit of believing it is possible for you. And I'm here to tell you, it is.